If you're trying to decide whether or not to get the COVID vaccine, or if you're impacted by the intensity and the division around the debate, then this channeled message will help you to get some clarity and also some hope. I'm Medha, and the collective I channeled is called Oron. Let's do it. We are here and happy to connect with you around this topic that feels so fraught and contracted and divisive and confusing and intense to so many of you. And that is the topic of vaccinations for COVID-19. We understand and can feel the intensity with which both sides of the debate feel so vehemently correct and strongly correct. We also sense that there are some of you that sit in the middle of that spectrum and are not yet sure what feels right to you. And the loudness of the dissenting opinions on either side can make it difficult for you to shut out conflicting ideas, informations, and intensity of energy so that you can quieten enough to feel and sense and know for yourself what the best course of action is moving forward. We wish to reassure you of something that we always aim to reassure you of, to allow you to soften into and relax into the knowing that you have the answers inside of you, whether or not you are able to connect with them in this moment or not, whether or not you feel that you can connect to them in every moment going forward. And we will say something that may appear controversial, particularly to those of you that have strong feelings about the rightness of your perspective and the wrongness of those that oppose it. There is no objective right answer here. There is no objective right answer here. There is no objective right answer here. And the reason that there is no objective right answer here is because each of you is more powerful than what you imagine. Each of you creates your body and yourself and you in every moment, even though that is not how you conceive of it. We would encourage those of you that are in a moment of indecision, that are in a place of not feeling clear about what decision feels best to you now, to rest and relax and accept and not fight the fact that in this moment you feel a level of confusion and lack of clarity. It is often when you are finding yourself in a level of confusion and lack of clarity that you will ponder and go over and over and over and over all of the angles of a situation, thinking that that is you moving forward towards a clarity of answer. But the reality is that often when you are doing that and you are thinking thoughts that you have thought before and you are walking paths in your inner world that you have walked before, when you are treading deeply into your mind, creating crevices of familiarity because you are rethinking the thoughts again and again and again and again, you're actually creating more confusion for yourself because as you percolate in the energy of problem, as you analyze again and again and again, you percolate in the energy of confusion and create more and more and more confusion. And so if you are caught at a crossroads and unable to decide what to do, whether it is about the vaccination or something else, we would invite you to stop pondering it and to allow yourself to relax into some playful openness in another area, to allow yourself to experience the confusion, to not fight against it, to not resist. Even if you feel that you must make a decision because some time frame in the immediate future seems to be moving forward closer and closer to your experience. When you feel a sense of urgency to make a decision and you are in a place of lack of clarity, all you create is more tension, more stress, more contracted energy, and an inability to arrive at the space that allows your clarity to shine forth, that allows your clarity to shine on what feels right for you. And so give yourself permission, even if those around you are not giving you that permission. When you give yourself permission to be confused, to not know, when you accept yourself as you are showing up in the moment and connect into your intention of what finding, not what is objectively true, but what feels right for you, you will then create a level of space that will allow you to hear the whispers of your inner world, the whispers of your knowing, because your inner knowing does not shout. And when those around you are coming at you with a level of intensity and it feels as though their information and energy is being communicated to you through a megaphone, with conflicting ideas and voices and thoughts, it is difficult for you to hear the whispers of your own knowing above the din of all of that. We remind you also that the universe is a mirror, and so you will not be in a position of having confusion created by you if there is not a level of confusion in the internal of you to begin with. And so do not think of this as a big bad problem, but realize that you are being shown the way that you are not always able to listen to the whispers of your soul, the whispers of your knowing. And as you focus on that and give your attention and your energy to that, it is like watering a plant. It is like giving it the space and the energy and the earth and the light that it needs so that it can grow. And as you train yourself to start to hear those whispers, the effect of that will be that the din around you will sound less loud. As you get attuned with yourself, as you allow yourself to hear the whispers within yourself, and as your focus moves ever more inward while staying connected to the outward, you will no longer be like a ship swayed by the waves of the ocean. You will be able to stand in your center and hear opposing perspectives and be open to the wisdom that comes from all of them, because all of the perspectives that are currently on your planet have a level of value. And when you are anchored so deeply into the feeling that yours is the right one, there is a contraction of energy that prevents expansion. Your body responds to you, your intention, and your energy so much more than you realize. So much more than you realize. So when it comes to this decision of saying yes or no to a vaccine, when there is so much intensity, where there is so much, as was said, pressure, when there is so much feeling and energy around, saying yes or no to this from a place of confusion creates a pressure cooker effect in you that makes it difficult to find clarity. And so our counsel to you, if you are having difficulty finding ways to move forward productively towards a clarity of purpose and decision-making for yourself, is to know that you are not at the effect of your environment. You are not even at the effect of the things that you ingest or add to your body in the form of vaccines, even though it appears to you otherwise. We are going to say something very lofty that some of you are ready to hear and some of you are not. You are capable of impacting your own physiology in ways that you cannot yet even conceive. You know, for example, that you imagine yourself biting on a lemon and your saliva glands respond physiologically. That is one experience that you accept without question because you have lived it for yourself. And yet there is so much more that you are creating physiologically within yourself in ways that you are not aware of, and so you are therefore not capable of taking responsibility for it. You are powerful beyond measure, and you consume a level of toxicity in your world with the things that you eat, with the things that you put in your body regularly, that you do not expect to create problems for you. And surprise, they do not. The level of your expectation and your intention is much more powerful than what you are ready to see in this moment. The level of power that is had by your expectation, which can be either conscious or unconscious, and with your intention, which is ideally conscious, is so much more than what you are conscious or aware of currently. This is something that humanity is going to become much more aware of and use in a more conscious way to create the things that you want. And so we will say to you, if you choose to take the vaccine, do it from a place of alignment, do it from a place of integrity, do it from a place of feeling that that is the most right move for you, given all of the circumstances. And if you choose not to have the vaccine, do that from a place of integrity and alignment and knowing that that feels like the right move for you under the circumstances. And know also this, the tendency that humans have to fight against, to push against, and to resist is something that acts as a brake rather than an accelerant when it comes to moving towards the things that you want. Fighting against, pushing against, resisting against is a tension, is a contraction. One of the reasons that Medha has been reluctant to talk about this in the wider public realm is that she does not wish to be forcing her opinion onto others in a way that decrees that what she thinks and feels is correct. She also, admittedly, has not been wishing to speak about this because she knows the intensity of it and she does not want to dally in that dance. But this question came and she was open to sharing, and so we will share that for her. The difficulty here for her and her values and her value alignment is that she does not believe that people should be forced to do something that they do not wish to do for themselves. The idea of mandatory vaccinations does not gel well with her, and although she is aware that fighting and pushing against is an ineffective mode of moving forward, the habitual pattern of doing that makes it sometimes difficult for her to not accidentally find herself doing so. She stands for equality and she stands for choice. And as she does that, when she stands for it with an air of openness, with a spacious energy and a yes to equality and yes to choice, there is an expansion in her that calls that forward from the universe. But when she is rallying against the fact that choices are being taken away and the fact that discrimination is poised to happen more and more in society based on people's medical decisions, her energy contracts and she has less productive energy to invest into her stand for her values of equality and freedom and choice. And so we are not saying to any of you to move against your own values, but we are saying align yourself with the values of the things that you wish for, rather than taking up arms against the things that you do not wish for. We understand that in society, when you look back, it looks as though there has been so much need for revolution and fighting against in order to create things. We know that. We accept that. It looks that way. But the truth is that as more and more of you understand the power of your intention, your attention, your consciousness, your energy, and you align to that, and then take inspired action, movement could be had so much more smoothly, with so much less friction, with so much less violence in the inner world and the outer world. And so we will not provide an answer for you about the rightness or the wrongness of the vaccine. We will not provide an answer for you about the rightness or the wrongness of the choices being made currently in your society. But we will point you to the fact that what you see externally is a mirror to what you feel internally. And the division and the anger and the vitriol and the lack of listening and the lack of compassion that you see in the outside world is to some degree felt by all of you in your inner worlds. And so, dear ones, know yourself so that you can know inside of yourself what feels right and true for you. You do not have to push against the opposite. You do not need to invest your energy in that direction. But as you invest more and more of your energy into really deeply knowing the fullness of you, you will become able to hear the whispers of your own knowing, the whispers of your own soul, and you will become so much more able to create the changes that so many of you are crying for in this world at present. You will arrive at harmony by aligning with harmony and acting from that place. You will add to the division when you fight against and push against. Know also this: you are all one. Despite the division, despite what you see on the surface, you are all made of the same thing. The energy, the divinity, the love that lies at your core lies in the core of all of your brethren, and everything around you. And so we do not wish to diminish the pain that has been experienced by many of you. But we want you to know that all of that is on the surface. And at the deepest level, there is a unity that exists, not just within humanity, but within the world and within the universe. Humanity is going through a deep transformation at present. It has been building up to this for centuries. And so as you anchor into your own self and your own knowing and create more harmony within you, you will be creating more of the energy of harmony on your planet. That, dear one, is not a small thing. Do not fight against you. Do not rail against you. If you wish to have flow, if you wish to have alignment, and the same is true of your brethren, do not rail against and do not fight if what you wish is expanded alignment and unity and harmony. You are all so much more similar than you are different. But you all have different perspectives. And within the prism of your own human consciousness, each one of you has a perspective that is valid. But at the depth of it, none of that even matters. You are connected much more deeply than you are yet allowing yourself to feel. There is nothing you cannot do. There is nothing that you cannot have, but you are going through a growth phase, both as individuals and as a collective. Support yourselves, support each other, and move towards a relationship with the institutions in your world that is expansive and supportive. As each of you create the change inside of yourselves that you wish to see in the world, you will see that in the world reflected back to you. There is no right or wrong answer here. But whatever decision that you make, align with it before you act. And all will be well for you. The core of you cannot be touched by the dance that happens on the surface. There does not need to be the level of conflict and division. There is a new form of revolution that is becoming available to humanity because your energy has lifted enough to allow it to be. And so as you move from the old mode of revolution into the new mode, incorporate in your hearts an openness, not just for the ones that think like you, but for the totality of the universe that you all are. This is an ongoing conversation and we will speak to you about this again in the future. But please know that we love you, we love you, we love you. Go well.